box feels heavy on your chest. I wish I could carry the weight all on my back. Colors now faded. There's only so much hoping that I can do, but I'd rather lose than lose you. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you. I gotta do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to put your heart to rest. I'll keep waiting as long as it takes. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again.
Are you interested in discovering the secret to becoming wealthy? The truth is, wealth is not something that can be earned overnight, but rather it must be constructed over time. The question is, are you ready to start building your financial future? If so, there's an asset that you absolutely must acquire as soon as possible. Believe it or not, this asset is even more valuable than Bitcoin, and it is worth more than $1 million. It is a priceless commodity that you cannot afford to be without. Do you know what I'm talking about? Financial education is one of the most valuable assets you can obtain, and it is something that must be built. Without the proper financial education, it doesn't matter how much money you have, because you won't be able to keep it. That's why it's essential to begin building your financial education as soon as possible. This education starts in your mind, and it is something that cannot be taken away from you once you have it. The best part is that it can lead to a radical transformation in your financial situation. In this video, you'll discover 9 transformative lessons that have the power to change your life forever. By acquiring new knowledge, skills, and tools, you can significantly improve your financial success. Conversely, a lack of these resources can greatly harm your finances, your connection with money, and all other areas of your life. First step, educate yourself every day about personal finances. If you want to start something, education will always be the most important because you can learn the tools and skills necessary to deal with the situations that arise. In this case, it is no exception. If you are a person with little knowledge of personal finances or have not yet adequately developed your financial intelligence, it is important to nourish your mind with the knowledge of everything that financial education means. Personally, I recommend that to start educating yourself. Surround yourself with people who have more skill in handling money than you so that you can learn by imitation the financial habits. But if you do not have people with these characteristics around you, you can start your financial education by reading books. So, I recommend that you set aside a moment of your day when you wake up or before bed, or if you have little time, dedicate a few hours of your weekend to acquire this knowledge through books, blogs on the internet, podcasts, or YouTube channels like this one. You need to immerse yourself in the business world and acquire this knowledge as soon as possible. Pay attention, know that financial education is not a goal to be achieved, but rather a lifestyle to follow. So, you must incorporate it into your daily life and make it part of your routine. It should accompany you throughout your life and is the best and greatest investment you can make. Do not worry about reading all the books on financial education, but rather those that are easier to understand or apply to your specific situation. Remember, it is better to read one book 10 times than 10 books only once. This way, you will understand and apply what you have learned in your daily life. Second step, evaluate your current financial situation. It is important that in the first step, you learn and read about financial education as recommended, as this will give you the tools to evaluate your current financial situation. In this step, you should analyze how much money you have, what kind of debts you have incurred, your savings, your expenses, what your sources of income are, and the assets and liabilities you have. From this general analysis, you can see panoramically how your financial health is. It may be that in relation to your income and expenses, you are in a deficit, that is, your expenses are exceeding your income, which may be constantly leading you to debt. Or it may also be that your income covers your expenses, but however, Faced with the loss of your job and stop receiving your salary, this can cause an imbalance in your finances. The third case that could occur is when you have income that far exceeds your expenses, and you have surpluses that if you do not know how to invest them, you would be losing money due to the opportunity cost of investing them properly and getting more out of your money. Here, I recommend that you make a list of all your fixed and variable income and expenses, and also make a list of your debts, your credit cards, an inventory of your assets, classifying them into assets and liabilities. In short, it is to identify your overall financial situation. Third step, develop a basic financial plan. With the list of inputs and outputs from the previous step, it is now time to create a budget. Simply put, a budget is a forecast of what you can expect from money and flows and outflows in the future. Do not complicate things too much, and as a suggestion in the beginning, do not try to meticulously control every penny, not even the coffees or the small daily expenses. When you start organizing your finances, it is important to first develop the habit so that you learn naturally and it does not become something complicated or annoying. For example, if it is difficult to control small expenses, set a fixed monthly amount in your budget and stick to it. Where you should focus on more detailed control are in the inputs and outputs that represent higher values in your budget. Initially, focus on the most significant expenses, then when you are more accustomed, control the other expenses in more detail, setting limits for your daily, weekly, or monthly expenses, and always prioritize needs over desires. Keep your budget simple, estimating your monthly inputs and outputs, and take the opportunity to identify the really necessary expenses. If they're not, eliminate them or reduce them. It is very important to save money at this stage, at least between 10 to 20% of your income. Step 4. Understand and manage your debts. When preparing your budget, consider paying off your outstanding debts and prioritize the settlement. I can assure you that in your situation, there is no better investment for your money than paying off your debts and getting rid of the interest that could accumulate. Before thinking about investing, focus on paying off all your short and medium-term debts or seek alternatives to manage them. You can negotiate to repurchase your debts to reduce the rates or make installment payments. In previous videos, we explained the methods of debt repayment using the snowball or avalanche method, but we recommend the avalanche method, which orders your debts according to interest rates and prioritizes the payment of the highest rates first, reducing your financial costs. Learn to distinguish between good and bad debts and avoid unnecessary debts. We are not saying that you should not have debts, but rather that you should manage them properly in your financial life. Regarding investments, it is advisable that short-term investments be financed with short-term debts and long-term investments with long-term debts. For example, when acquiring a house, it is always better to opt for longer-term financing even if you have all the money to pay it in cash. It is more advantageous to use the bank's money to acquire the property and invest your own money in a business that provides a higher return than the interest the bank would charge. Step 5. Save. After preparing your budget, identifying your inputs and outputs, and also having a plan to pay off your debts, only then can you allocate part of your money to savings. As we always suggest, start by saving for your emergency fund, the equivalent of 3 to 6 months of your income. This will depend on the risk level of your situation. After reaching this emergency fund, start saving to invest. Remember that people who have built their fortune did not do so just by saving but by investing. Therefore, this initial step is crucial for you to accumulate the capital necessary to make your money grow. There are several saving methods such as the 50-30-20, which involves allocating 20% of your income to savings in addition to the 52 weeks method, or the one recommended in the book The Richest Man in Babylon, which suggests setting aside 10% of your income. Anyway, there are many methods available, just choose one that suits your situation and follow it. The important thing is to be able to accumulate the necessary capital before starting to save. It is advisable to define your short and long-term saving goals. Do not save without a clear objective for the money. Have your investment goals well defined, and be attentive to opportunities. Step 6. Invest. When you have saved enough money as explained in the previous step, it is time to start investing. Make sure to invest gradually. Do not put all your money at once until you are sure you understand how the chosen investment instrument works in the market. There are many investment opportunities such as real estate, online sales, digital products, and enterprises. These options require little capital but can offer high returns. A successful enterprise can help multiply your money quickly, although it also has a higher risk of failure. It is no coincidence that starting a business and creating companies have been the way most millionaires have built their fortunes. Step 7. Plan for retirement. Securing a comfortable retirement is crucial, and it can be achieved by accumulating enough assets to cover your expenses. Begin building these assets today that will later provide you with passive income. One option is to invest in an index or investment fund, or a dividend-paying stock portfolio that will offer financial stability. Planning for retirement is a responsible way to anticipate and prepare for the future, and obtaining life, health, or property insurance is a vital step in safeguarding against unexpected financial hardship. It's important to have a contingency plan in place to deal with unforeseen circumstances. In researching the available insurance options and selecting the one that best fits your needs is paramount. Unfortunately, many people encounter financial difficulties at some point in their lives, which is why it's essential to educate yourself financially. It may come as a shock, but successful executives, and even those with a hefty bank account, have sought guidance from mentors and consultants to aid in their personal and financial development. By learning from the errors of others and understanding how to leverage the resources around them, they have developed crucial strategies for triumph. Step 8. Diversify your sources of income. Diversifying your sources of income is essential to increase your net worth and wealth. If your current income is not enough to save or invest, it is important to find ways to increase it. This can be done by reducing expenses or even surpassing your current income. Diversifying your sources of income does not necessarily mean having many sources, at least not initially. The ideal is to find a profitable activity and focus on it to increase your income. This can allow you to stop working for other people's dreams and start working for your own financial goals. Step 9. Reduce taxes. Look for legal opportunities to reduce taxes. This is very important even if it is not you who completely takes care of it, as it will always be necessary to be managed by a specialized professional. However, you should be aware and informed about the taxation that can affect or benefit your finances. Interestingly, Robert Kiyosaki in his book Rich Dad Poor Dad comments that taxes were created to be applied to the rich. However, due to the state's veracity, middle-class people also pay them and invest in your negotiation and communication skills. Communication and negotiation skills will not only serve to improve your financial situation, but also your personal development, because by nature we are social, so communication plays an important role in interacting with others. If you develop your communication ability, you can develop your sales skills, which is one of the most important in any business, especially in the initial stage of the business where you need to make your product or service known and sold. Negotiation is the key to achieving our goals. Financial education is an investment in your future. No matter how small to start, the important thing is to start and persevere. If you made it through the entire video, you have demonstrated a true desire to understand personal finances. Please introduce yourself by leaving a comment that says, "I stayed until the end." Once I see your comment, I will give you a heart. On your screen, you will see a video where I share tips on how to create wealth and become free financially. Click on it and watch it now.